Hey guys, I just finished watching the Wheel of Time Season 1 finale, and I wanted to give you my raw reactions. It's been a long work week. I haven't been able to work on my channel, at all, so my deep dive video for Episode 7 hasn't even been done yet, and I'll probably do, a combo video for 7 and 8, or I don't know. I may do deep dives for both, but that may take some time. Anyway, I have some thoughts. Yeah, where to begin? First of all, this will have spoilers. I'm going to be spoiling all of the Wheel of Time books. Please do not watch this video if you have not read all of the books. I'm going to be talking about some pretty big things that happen later down the road in the books. So you've been warned. Spoiler warning. Do not watch this video. I promise this will be here if you read the books later. But on the other hand, I got to say, a lot of the changes that were made in this entire season and this last episode in particular, I'm scratching my head a little. I didn't hate the episode by any means. I didn't hate the season at all. I love the show. I can't wait to see what they're going to do next. They obviously left us with some big, cliffhangers. But I also got to go, why? Why did they change the things they changed? Why did they choose to do what they chose to do? To me, I've heard the complaints from people about, this isn't accurate to the books. And I don't want to be one of those people who is just totally why can't they be accurate to the books? But I do have to wonder, why did they make some of the choices that they made? The stuff with Matt makes a lot of sense. Barney Harris was not in the show the last 2 episodes. They've recast Matt. That all makes sense to me. They had to do what they had to do. But I don't know. Overall, I'm scratching my head a little bit. I loved it. I loved specifically the scenes with the Dark One. With Rand, I like the little "I have won again, Luce Theron." I would have liked to hear that line, but hopefully that comes later. I've had a theory for quite a while, and I'll probably talk about this later in another video. But I've had a theory for quite a while that when that seal was cracked, and I did think that maybe that thing we saw on the ground was going to be one of the seals on the Dark One's prison. It seems like that's what that was. When that was cracked, I think that's what's going to allow the Forsaken to now be free, if we haven't already seen some of them hinted at in some of previous episodes, which is a possibility. But anyway, I like that. Let's start with the cold open. The cold open, it was really cool to see Luce Theron and Latra Pose Decum, however you say her name. It was really cool to see that all done in the Old Tongue. That was a really cool touch. I thought that scene was interesting. Would I have liked to see the actual prologue from the Eye of the World? Of course I would have. But I can tell that they're setting that up to be something that they reveal later down the line. It makes sense to me that when they reveal who that man is with the fire eyes, the one who kind of talked to Rand and did some of that monologuing that we saw in this episode, which I liked, by the way. I love the whole monologuing between Rand and Ishamael. That stuff's really cool. I spoiled it, but I told you there'd be spoilers. I love that stuff, but I feel like they're going to reveal the whole Luce Theron having gone mad, the whole devastation that's caused because of his choice to go through with it, and then the fact that they showed him with his child in the crib was also kind of a nice touch, because he's going to kill his family, which is an absolutely terrible thing. But I think that was a good setup. The scene itself was kind of lackluster to me. I did like the sort of pan out to the city and seeing that sort of sci-fi looking city. That was a really cool detail. On the other hand, I'm kind of nerdy this way, but I was thinking to myself, is this what these cities would look like when they're deep into the War of the Shadow? I don't know. I feel like the things would be a little more grim at this point. But you know what? Overall, that was cool. I like that opening scene. There were a lot of little things that I noticed in the show that I will talk about more in other videos. But just these are my initial reactions, so I'm trying to remember things as I saw them. And I'm not going to remember every little detail. I can't tell if they killed Agomar, but what? Why? Especially because after they may or may not have killed Agomar, it looked like he was killed. Maybe not. There was a lot of talking about his armor. Maybe there was a reason for that. Maybe he's actually somehow going to be safe from that. But after they, what seemed like, killed off Agomar, I was thinking, okay, his sister Amalisa is going to sort of take his place as the great captain, I guess. I don't know. And then I was surprised when she died from getting burned out. I think it was important to set up the whole burning out thing. I think that was important. The idea, there were just little moments where I was like, oh, this is so cool. I never thought of it this way. But also, oh, that does away with this scene later. For example, I think it's book 6, when Nynaeve and Egwene are at Saladar, and they have to try to form a link for their first time. They're being attacked by a bubble of evil in the city, and they have to link with the Aes Sedai in the city, and that process of linking. It's very difficult for them. That was kind of like an important character moment where they learn about linking. And so just to have them link so quickly in this episode, again, it was cool, but it was like, okay, well, I guess we're doing away with that later. Okay, I understand. And that's kind of how I felt the whole time. Like the eye, why was the Eye of the World the boar? Was the Eye of the World the boar, or was it just one of the seals? I do find it interesting that it appears that the seals of the Dark One's prison are much larger, that they're not something you can carry around with you or hide. So that will be interesting. Obviously, I was led to believe, and we were all led to believe, that the Eye of the World was the Dark One's prison at the boar. And obviously that's not the case, but it does seem that Lews Therin had different seals in these different locations throughout the world, maybe. That's kind of interesting. So the reason he recognized the eye is because the Eye of the World was a location for a seal, which is interesting. I liked the idea of a pure pool of Sidene. I wish we could have seen that. There was a moment in Rand's dream, or whatever was, that was happening, where he was having that pretend reality with Egwene and his daughter Joya, which those were cool details. There was that moment in there when his channeling came through and it was pure white, and I was like, oh, he's totally channeling from the Eye of the World. And then it took a second, but as he actually started channeling, that's when it became dark and black. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. He's channeling Sidene, the tainted half of the male, the male half of the One Power. Fine. So there is no Eye of the World. There is no pure pool of Sidene. That's not to say it couldn't happen again later. I'm now starting to form theories like, okay, so the next seal, very likely at Falm, where he will face off with the Shan-Chan. If that's where it happens in the books, it could happen in Tyr, I don't know. And then I thought, okay, another seal, probably in Ruidion, in the city in the Aiel Waste. Okay, where are some other seals? So I'm starting to think of like locations throughout the world where there will be these seals hidden. And I do like the idea of that, but I also really like the concept of the seals being these small things that cannot be broken, that can be anywhere, and they act as like these points for the seals on the Dark One's prison. They're not physically that, but they're like linked to it in some way. I like that concept in the books, and so it'll be interesting to see how they do that going forward. I think I might have mentioned this, I'm kind of rambling, but one of my theories is that when Rand cracked that seal, what he actually was doing was freeing the Forsaken. So if we haven't seen the Forsaken already in some of the episodes, which is questionable, I have a theory that Lanfear has already appeared in one of the episodes. But if that's not the case, maybe what Ishamael was doing was actually trying to manipulate Rand to do what he did so that he could be fully freed, and so that the other Forsaken could be fully freed. And I did like the line from Moraine saying, this is basically the first battle, not the last. I like that. I thought that was cool. I'm trying to think of what I didn't like. I mean, some of the little changes, obviously, if they actually killed Loial, that is not cool. They better not have killed Loial. One of the little changes is it seemed that Padan Fain had the dagger from Shadar Logoth. That seemed pretty clear. And it had blood on it, and it looked like he had just killed a lot of those people. And it showed him killing Loial, or at least stabbing him. So I guess they changed that. Does the dagger not have the same effect that it does in the books? Now, I know in the books it sort of gradually gets more dark and seems to have more terrible powers over time, maybe. So I guess there's something to that. But that was another thing where I was like, oh, that's different. Okay. Again, if they actually killed Loial, shame on them. That would be the biggest mistake. I think, to me, that was a big cliffhanger. And if they actually killed him, ugh. Now, the guy who was going to be Ingtar, he's the guy who says, they're dark friends in the city. And I liked that little moment, but apparently they've recast that actor. He's no longer Ingtar, and they called him another name. I can't remember what that name was, but they did end up calling him another name. I don't think I saw Uno dead in the throne room. I'll have to go back and watch that, but I think Uno's safe. I think he was not there. The idea that the Horn of Valir was being kept by the Fortress of Faldar, that it was just there for the last battle, a little interesting, a little very different from the books, but also, okay, I like it. It does seem like they're setting up the whole Great Hunt thing where they're going to have to go and find the horn. It does also feel like at this stage, Perrin and Rand and Mat are all going to be totally separated, so it will be interesting to see how they handle all of that. I didn't mind so much that Egwene was able to heal Nynaeve. I thought that was kind of a fun twist on what we know in the books, where Nynaeve was the one who healed Egwene, and that's still also possibly what happened. But anyway, I want to keep this short. I'm rambling. Moraine being stilled. That was, well, actually, we don't know for sure if she was stilled. She says something like, I can no longer touch the source. And it looked like he shielded her. The way we saw it, it was the same kind of look that we saw the Aes Sedai shielding Logain with. So it's possible that she's just got like a tied-on shield. That's possible. I don't know. But the idea that she says she can't do anything with the bond with with land, that would imply that she has been stilled. So that's an interesting change that I'm actually kind of interested in, and I like. I know that that's not in the books at all, but that could be really interesting. That could also lead to other things later where some of those things get healed. That could be sped up a little bit because we want Logain back in the story as well. I feel like I'm running out of time because my phone only has so much time that I'm recording on here. So I guess overall, surprised by some things. I loved how the Shan Chen looked. It doesn't look like we have the collar and the bracelet and the whole leash thing, which I guess I'm okay with. Maybe they felt that that was not a good idea. And it looks like they have some sort of like, I mean, it almost looks just like another S&M type thing, like they've got some sort of a ball gag or something. I thought that was strange, but that probably is the Idam or Adam from the book. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Overall, I guess my reactions are, I liked it. I was surprised by some of the changes. I have to say that earlier today, I got to take my family to go see the new Spider-Man movie. And seeing that in contrast with this show, it made me realize, even though they've got quite the budget for the show, it has a long way to go. Like the quality of the show in comparison to something that's, I mean, obviously a Marvel movie and a Spider-Man movie to boot, the quality is just up there. Like you can't compete with that. But I did see the contrast. I was just like, man, this Spider-Man movie was so polished and so well made, and every shot was amazing, and every character beat and writing moment was just so insane. And then going to the Wheel of Time, I see room for improvement. I don't hate the show by any means. I'm not one of those book purists who's like, it has to be exactly like the books. I'm interested to see where they're going. I'd be curious to know, do we know if the actor who plays Loyal has been seen shooting season 2? I sure hope so. Anyway, these are my rambling thoughts. This isn't even really a review. It's just my raw reaction. I would say this probably was not my favorite of the episodes. I think maybe episode 7 was my favorite. I did like it. I'm going to have to rewatch it. I rewatch all of these for my channel. It's something I do. I'm going to be finding all kinds of stuff. And I'm really excited to kind of look back on the whole season now and kind of talk about the changes, talk about some of the things, where they're going. It's clear they have a vision. I'm excited to see where they're going with it. But I also am kind of sad for what could have been, because there are moments in the books I really like. The Green Man, for example. I wanted to see the Green Man so bad. I know they just did not have the budget for that. Here's hoping we'll still get something like that at a future location where there may be a future seal. Anyway, I'd like to know your thoughts below. I'm going to cut this short because I'm running out of time on my phone. But what do you guys think? I mean, we've now got season 1 in the bag. It's time to move on. I'm going to be making all kinds of videos, not just about the show, but back to the books, doing more exciting videos and stuff. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below. Be nice in the comments, and we'll talk to you guys later. See ya.